Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to another Crypto Warehouse. It's 11 o'clock, January the 3rd. Can you believe it? We were only at Christmas pulling crackers a week ago. And now here we are, almost halfway through the first week of January. And yet again, after yesterday's blockbuster show, we have even more to talk about today. The news is coming thick and fast. We have to try and pick out the best bits of news to talk to you about today. So we've got a couple of things about Bitcoin. One which has sentimental value, which is the Genesis block. We're going to talk a little bit about that, not too much. Then we're going to talk about the headline of the day. Michael Saylor sells his MicroStrategy stock. That's the headline of the day. Michael Saylor, Mr. Bitcoin himself, the Bitcoin Maxi, has been selling his MicroStrategy stock. Why? Watch on and we're going to tell you. Then we're going to take a look at ICP. ICP, as you know, if you've been here before, is one of our 15K to 1 million portfolio items. It wasn't doing very well. It was down in the doldrums for most of last year, and it's come out of the traps in 2020, king like a greyhound chasing a hot dog. Then we're going to look at Matic. Is it time for Matic to pump? It's sat around and watched its brothers and sisters pumping around it. Optimism, Arbitrum. Is it now finally time for Matic to come back and retake its Layer 2 title? Then we're going to take a look at a PIX warning article. Now, I've kind of covered these before, but basically, in a nutshell, what happens is these influencers, these medium article writers, what they'll do is they'll say, watch out for these three tokens, and it will be Bitcoin, it will be Ethereum, then it will be Dog Elon Mars that you've never heard of. And what they do is they try and slide in through association and a crypto you've never heard of. And they do that in a very sneaky way, and it does catch a lot of people out. So I am going to be covering that. Then, if we have time, we're going to go back to DeFi Llama, and we're going to have a look at the stablecoin growth over time. What stablecoins should you be holding? Are some stablecoins safer than others? We're going to have a quick look at that as well. It really isn't a very exciting article, but it's informative, and that's the point of the channel. We might not all be tassels and flashing lights, but sometimes we do have to go through some educational stuff. Also, we have the quiz at the end where we give away a little bit of crypto. Remember, we're not here to make you rich. We're here to stop you from becoming poor. So don't worry if you don't get a lot of crypto at the end of the show. It is meant to be a bit of fun. That's what we're going to cover. There's a lot to get through, and we are going to get cracking. Have a little look at the market caps, dominance, etc. Bitcoin, it held 45. We came down to 44.8. I think we're going to have a look at the chart anyway. But we're back up 45, 350-ish at this moment in time. The volume is up. Bitcoin dominance is back at 51%. Remember, Bitcoin dominance dropped below 50%. It was below half the total market cap. I think that might have actually been on New Year's Day. It was below 50%. Or if not New Year's Day, New Year's Eve. Ethereum dominance is becoming a non-starter. That was over 20% probably 3 months ago, before Bitcoin decided to go on its mad march. So that's what we're going to look at. 24-hour gainers. Maker is up there. ICP, Arbitrum, Aster, Blur, Thor, Brogan's favorite token. Year to date is an interesting one, because of course these are the ones that have gained the most coming out of the last 3 days. ICP 14%, Aster 27%, Arbitrum 26%, sorry. Lido is up, Thor is up, Maker is up. There's lots of green days today. And if we look at the losers, really not a lot to talk about. A few things down, 5, 6, 7%. Mina's down a little bit. I wouldn't worry too much about Mina. It's probably going to be profit taking. It's up 100% in the last month. So I think it's time to take some profits. Same with Injective. That's also up 108%. Bonk has had a small retracement, but that's had a huge run up as well. So nothing too much to write home about. Now, I'm going to try and read chat. I'm going to see if I can see anybody in chat today. I know Hidden Agendas is here. Good morning, Hidden Agendas. I've dropped a poll for you to answer if you want to answer that. Kishan is in chat. I can actually read the chat. What's going on? Good morning, Kishan. Good morning, Solo Sky. Nador, good morning. Oh my word, I can actually see people today. This is incredible. Who else is here? Remember, if you are in chat, this is supposed to be a two-way conversation. So make a comment, talk about a coin, ask about a coin, agree, disagree with me. Remember, my opinion is not gospel. I am just giving my opinion on all of these different crypto topics. You also have an opinion, and your opinion matters just as much as everybody else's. So drop a comment below with that. Good morning, Karalvi. Good morning, Tariq. I can see Tariq is in chat. CK Genius. Okay, right, let's get on with the articles. And let's get started. So, what is so special about January the 3rd? This is... On January the 3rd, 15 years ago, Block 0 was created. So on January the 2nd, 15 years ago, Bitcoin did not exist. It's been 15 years and it's gone from not existing to being worth, what are we at now, 900 billion, 880 billion. Look how far we've come in 15 years. It's incredible. Despite its anchoring role in blockchain history, it's atypical of all other Bitcoin blocks. It wasn't mined. And there were no users other than Satoshi Nakamoto. Block 00001 started the every 10 minutes process we're now used to and marked the day Bitcoin network became publicly available. The Genesis block appeared on January the 3rd, 2009, 6 days before block 0000, January the 9th. January the 9th is Bitcoin's real birthday. I don't agree. I think January the 3rd is its birthday. That was its inception. January the 9th, that's when it was born, not inception. So I think today, of all days. Now, wouldn't it be nice, and I'm not saying it's going to happen because I don't know, but wouldn't it be nice if Gary Gensler announced today, 15 years to the day that the Genesis block was created, wouldn't it be nice if he announced today that the SEC had approved the Bitcoin ETFs? Wouldn't that be a thing? The other date he could announce it is, of course, January the 9th, which is next Tuesday, I imagine. But I think those 2 days are very symbolic. Today, for me, is more symbolic than January the 9th, because today, for me, was the Genesis block. It was the birth of Bitcoin. Today, the Genesis block serves as a reference anchor used to configure wallets and other software that validate the entire blockchain. So it is the father, I suppose, or the mother, should I say, of all of Bitcoin. Now, I don't know if any of you have ever read any of the blocks that are on Bitcoin, or if you've ever heard anything, but Satoshi Nakamoto, he wrote into the block an article about the financial crisis that was in the 2008 markets when they crashed. I don't know if it mentions it down here. Oh, there is a series of great articles from 2019 that explains Genesis block's background. The main talking point was a message Satoshi Nakamoto placed inside Block 0, Chancellor on brink of second bailout to banks, meant as a timestamp to mark Bitcoin's first appearance amid the global financial crisis of the time. I was around at that time. It wasn't very pretty. It also made a point about governments intervening in the economy and financial markets and how eventually this would degrade the quality of both. Totally agree. Unfortunately, and perhaps inevitably, Satoshi's warning went unheeded by the powers, and Western economies continue to lurch ever closer. We don't need to really read any more about this, but today is a magical day. You could argue that today, 15 years ago, was the birth of crypto. Yes, you had XRP and Ripple. Yes, you had people talking about it in Reddit posts before Bitcoin. The digital money has been talked about since the 1970s. But Bitcoin started everything. I don't care about what other people were doing in the 70s and 80s. Digital money has been around for years. Go to Finland and look how they got their first CBDC 20 years ago. I don't care about that. For me, today is the day it all began, which is also interesting because now we have an article about probably the biggest Bitcoin bull in the world. Michael Saylor, laser eyes himself, the man with the permanent cough, has been selling his shares in MicroStrategy. MicroStrategy Executive Chairman Michael Saylor has started selling company stock, hinting at a possible market correction. He plans to sell 315,000 shares worth $216 million, but intends to use the proceeds to buy more personal Bitcoin. So there you go. He's going to sell. I don't know what percentage of his stock options are being sold. I don't know anything about it other than he is selling off his crown jewels. According to a January the 2nd filing with the SEC, MicroStrategy Executive Chairman Michael Saylor has started selling company stock. He has previously said that the proceeds from the sales would go towards more Bitcoin. According to the filing, he'll sell the 315,000 shares. In the fourth quarter conference call, he explained that he was granted a stock option in 2014 for 400,000 shares, which is nice. They will expire in April if he doesn't exercise it by then, he added. For almost a decade now, at my request, the company has only paid me a $1 salary, and I have chosen not to be eligible for any cash bonuses. That seems very wise. He will sell 5,000 shares each trading day, beginning on January the 2nd and ending on April the 25th. Now, why is he doing this? Well, first of all, he'll lose them if he doesn't. That's one thing that happens with options. They can expire. So he doesn't really have a choice. He's got to sell them. Or he's got to, exercise them. Now, the problem is, if he doesn't, then he has to buy them. And what tends to happen when you exercise these options is you buy and sell them at the same time. So what that means is, rather than him having to pay $50 million or $10 million for the shares, that trade and transaction happens at the same time, and he'll be given the difference between the value and what he's been offered them at. So then he's going to go and use that to buy more Bitcoin. So for argument's sake, Michael Saylor will go out and buy potentially $150 million worth of Bitcoin for himself. That could be bullish. We haven't seen him do that just yet. Now, I'm not going to read too much more about this, but it's not that interesting. But all I will say is a lot of people online have taken this the wrong way, which is why I made a big headline out of it. He's not selling his stock, he's selling an option that he would have to sell anyway, and if he didn't sell it, he would lose it. What man or woman in their right mind would not sell their options for $216 million? You'd have to be crazy not to, wouldn't you, at the end of the day? But of course, the headline is going to be Saylor sells his stock. That's the headline. What's actually happened is he's exercised his options. So let's have a quick look at the old Bitcoin chart. Now, one thing we always like to do on here is try and find some previous levels where Bitcoin could go to next. And where are we now in terms of price action? Well, what is interesting is this green fib level here. When we broke up on December the 5th, look what we did with this fib level. We came up and we did this. I'm going to call this the Loch Ness pattern, right? We came up to this fib level. We kind of used it as support. And now we're moving up. And we have two lines here. These are my two previous areas of price action. So if you go back to these areas here, which I'm not going to do because I don't want to run out of time today, there were two prices that we have to break. One of them is 45.5, and the next one up, this is why I keep talking about 48 to 50,000. The next one up here is 48.6. Good morning, Michael David AMD. I hope you are doing well. Welcome to the stream. I hope you are good. So what's going to happen in my eyes is we are at this level, this previous level of support, which is now resistance. What could we do? Again, it's actually quite difficult to do this because I don't know how it's going to play out, and that's in all honesty. Today, if it's announced that we've got an ETF, we could do this, and we could hit that 52,000 level immediately. We don't know because it's never happened before. It's very easy for you to listen to people who are going to say, oh, okay, well, quite easily, we're going to come up here, we're going to find this level of support, and then we're going to do that. That's easy for somebody to say. Honestly, today, I think it's one of the first days recently, maybe in the last couple of months, where I cannot tell you what's going to happen. What I have been saying for a long time is that this area here, between 48 and 50 is our sweet spot. That is our sweet spot. And I think, I'm not saying that the news is going to come in and rocket us to 100,000, but my best guesstimate is that we will come up into this range somewhere at 48 to 50,000, and maybe we hang out there. Maybe some partial news comes out. I don't know. It's really, really hard to say. I don't want to sound moon boyish, and I don't want to be a Debbie Downer and say, you know, what's the worst case scenario? Well, the worst case scenario is that we get delayed. And if we get delayed, what are we likely to do? We're likely to come back down here, which is about 36,000, where we've been before. So I don't want to be bullish, I don't want to be bearish, I want to try and give you a target, and that target is this area, 48 to 50,000. That's where I think we could go. Again, if you're sitting there deciding if you're going to DCA in or not, think of this. If I said to you, DCAing in at $48,000 when the price prediction is $100,000 to $250,000, you would DCA in, wouldn't you? If I said to you that the price could come down to 36,000 and then rocket up, and you were DCAing in all the way down and all the way up, you might get an average price of about 42,000, something like that. Well, if you've got an average price of 42,000 Bitcoin, $42,000 Bitcoin, and the price is going to hit $160,000 Bitcoin in 2 years' time, you've 4x'd your money. So don't think that you've missed out. As I say it quite a lot on here, the red zone for me, and we're going to talk about this in a minute with Matic, and this is what's important for me. This is the best zone to buy a coin that you believe in. If it's a meme coin, it can keep going down. If we're in the pits of the bear market, it can keep going down. But the red zone is the zone to buy in. That's the danger zone. That's the zone where there is max pain, max fear, max FUD, and that's when you need, in the words of Posh Spice, you need your golden balls and you need to take your move then. Now, if you haven't done that, or you're late to the party, and Bitcoin is something you only heard of a few weeks ago, if I said to you that the price of Bitcoin could do this and go up here, does it matter if you buy it there, or you buy it there, or you buy it here? No, it doesn't, because you have all of this profit on your Bitcoin. So if you truly believe, as I do, that we're going to have a 6-figure Bitcoin this cycle, then it doesn't matter if you're DCAing in now or you're DCAing in a month's time or you were DCAing in 12 months ago. The other thing to bear in mind is, yes, it can go down. Yes, it could go to zero. So could any stock. So could any stock, any share. There's always going to be risk associated with everything you do with your money. Even if you put it in a box and put it under your bed, guess what? That money's going to deflate. It's going to be worthless in 50 years' time. Your parents and your grandparents, they were paying $1,000 for their house. Today, that house might be worth $300,000. So they've 300x'd their money. If they've kept that $1,000 in a box under their bed, it's done nothing. It's gone to nothing. You can't even buy a door for your house for that money. So everything has inherent risk. But if you believe in your bones that Bitcoin is going to go to 150,000, don't worry and think you've missed out. There are people watching this stream who have Bitcoin that they bought there. There are people watching that have bought their Bitcoin here. There are lots of people on this channel who have bought their Bitcoin here. You are all getting on and off the same train, but it's just at different stops. And the end destination isn't the same for everybody else either. If you sell your Bitcoin at $100,000 per Bitcoin, and that sets you up financially for life, not financial advice, sell it, because you are then financially free for the rest of your life. This train started 15 years ago. It's got another 100 years to go. We don't even have adoption yet. The ETFs aren't approved. So if you are watching and you're thinking about what should I do, DCA in dollar cost average into Bitcoin and Ethereum and whatever else you like. And just remember that these prices are going to go down, they're going to go up, but over a very long period of time, over the next 2 years, we should see the price rise dramatically. So don't panic. Don't think you've missed the boat, because you certainly haven't missed the boat. The boat has gone from one port to another, and it's going to move on to the next port, which will be the ETFs. The next port after that will be the halving. The next port after that will be Christmas next year or this year. Don't panic about it. Now, another token that a lot of people may feel they've missed the boat on is ICP. I bought ICP. I don't know what I paid for it. $4, $5. It's had a bit of a run up in the last few months. I'm just going to cover over this token because I don't want people FOMOing in to certain tokens. So let's go and have a quick look at this. It's a tremendous achievement that the ICP token has forged itself in, making its way into the top 20 largest altcoins with the kind of momentum that everyone is currently asking themselves. No, forget this. Do not read anything. This is the article I was telling you about, where people just throw in coins that you've never heard of. Ignore that bit. So ICP is designed as a decentralized web platform and aims to build a secure, trustless, yet quick network that could be available for public use. It's used as network operations currency development fees for programmers and government's tools at the protocol level to maintain stability. It uses proof of useful work with subnet blockchains that improve capacity in smart contracts. It's got a DAO. It's not 20. I think it's now at 15. It's not at $9.26 anymore. It's actually gone up. Right, we're going to move on to look at the price, because that article, after I read the first paragraph before the stream, I realized it's not the kind of article I want to read. So let's have a quick look. So, as I said before, and I'm going to talk about with Matic, we want to be buying in the red zone of this coin, or any coin. And that would be this area here that goes up to about $7.60. Well, surprisingly enough, we are double that price right now. One thing you need to know about ICP is that there was a lot of price manipulation going on way back here with a certain Sam Bankman-Fried. Right, let me just show you. I don't even know if I can get it to fit on the chart. Good grief. Okay. So that was the top of ICP, which was, what's that, $2,800? $2,800 was the peak for ICP. We're currently at $15.40. Don't buy this coin and expect it to ever get near that price ever again. It's not going to happen. It was market manipulation. It was pumped and pumped and pumped by Sam Bankman-Fried and his cronies over at the exchange that no longer exists anymore. But the reasoning I'm showing you this is that if you take the fib level from where you could argue it really started to trade, which is about 20, let's call it $24. That's where I think the price is reasonable. I can't do the fib from $2,800, otherwise we'll be red for the next 4 years. So you have to make a marker, and then you have to base your analysis on that marker. Now, again, with the red zone, from May 2022, even up till the 18th of December, we were in the red zone, which is the buy zone. Now, I bought ICP about here. That's where I bought ICP, about $5 for argument's sake. And as you can see, when I bought it at $5, it went up, and then it came all the way back down again. I was down about 40% on my ICP holding. Now I'm 3x up. And that's happened in a matter of 3 months. That's how fast crypto can move. Now, what I want to show you is, and again, we covered this. I know we've mentioned Teller on here. I made a video about Teller telling you not to buy it. It was a pump and dump, and it was going to come crashing down. It hit $650, and it's come all the way down to 190 or 180, whatever it is now. It was a massive scam. Manipulation in its finest. It was a disgrace. ICP and other coins that I cover, I covered Immutable X the other day. These are not scams, but also there's a time to buy the coin. I know we've just talked about Bitcoin and you can DCA into Bitcoin, but when you have these massive pumps, which have really happened in 3 weeks, we've 3x'd in 3 weeks, there's going to be some kind of retracement. Now look here. Look at the RSI. The RSI is incredibly high, which means it's overbought, very simply. When the RSI is down here, what starts to move up, you see that the price action moves up. Now, what happened there? Okay. Oh, it won't let me do that. What an absolute shame. Right. So what could I see happening? Let's do that again. And let's do it here. Okay. Now, what I could see happening is something like this. Now, that's drawn perfectly. There's 2 price targets I have got for buying into ICP if you want to buy it. And a big shout out as well. I won't mention his name, but somebody on the stream bought into ICP at $8.90. And I think that was a very wise price to get in because we've pumped significantly since then. So congratulations to you. You know who you are in chat. Good job. So what's going to happen is, in my opinion, we're going to have a cooling off. I would like to see a cooling off. And I think we're going to do one of 2 things. I think we're going to come down to $10 and change, or we're going to come down to $13 and change. And either of those 2 prices, for me, would be a good time to buy in. Now, look what happened here. The RSI comes down, and it comes down to a decent level. And then what we want to do is we want to wait for it to start to turn. Because what could happen is the price will come down here, and the price will start to turn, which will create potentially something like this, which is hidden bullish divergence. And that's where you buy, because what will happen next is potentially we will do this kind of move. So yes, by all means, DCA in. Buy today, buy next Friday, buy next Friday after, whatever you want to do. But don't buy the tops. Don't FOMO in. Yes, you're probably still going to make money. Yes, it could very well 3-5x from here. Not financial advice. Yes, it could hit $100. It can do all of these things. But just think about trying to maximize your investment. You know, if you can get it at $15, $13, and $10, well, that gives you an average of about $13 anyway. Again, don't worry about the prices down here. We've left this danger zone. If we have a huge retracement, if the Bitcoin ETF gets delayed, then, you know, we could see this. Then that is your golden opportunity to buy this token. Similarly, and this is a bit of advice for the person who bought at $8.90. If you're not thinking of holding this long term, and this price action breaks, and we come up here to about 19 and change, or even back up towards 23, personally, I would look to take a small profit on that. If it's not going to be a long-term bag that you want to hold for the next 2 years, take a short-term profit and then roll it into something that you really like. Maybe take the profit and put it back into Bitcoin, put it back into Ethereum, put it back into stable coins if you want. But for me, I think we're overbought and we're going to retrace. And what I will do is I will leave those two lines on the screen. So we'll come back to this in a few days and we'll see where we are, because we don't want to overrun. And I can't believe it's already 11:30. We're going to overrun, aren't we? So let's move on. How's the poll going? Not many people have answered the poll. Bitcoin to $50,000 today. 2 have said yes, 1 have said no. Who knows what's going to happen? Right, I am going to drop a red envelope. So I am. Give me 1 second. Also, unfortunately, I cannot log into one of the exchanges again. I am really sorry that I can't get in, but my authentication, my 2FA is not working, so I can't get in. I couldn't get in yesterday. I can't get in today. So if you are listening in a certain place and I'm not commenting in chat, you know where it is. I do apologize. But I will take this moment to please remind you all to make sure you follow us. Make sure to press the like button, subscribe button, whatever buttons you've got in front of you. Press them all. We are so close to hitting 100,000 followers across our channels. It's within touching distance. I think we're probably going to hit 100,000 by the end of January. I was expecting it to be February or March, but I think we'll be at 100,000 by the end of January. And we're going to have to think of some kind of prize giveaway. How we're going to do that, I don't know. But that is what we are going to try and do. So let's crack on and talk about another. So I'm going to call this next one a hidden gem. And by hidden gem, I mean it's an elephant sitting in the corner of a room that you just haven't noticed. And that is Matic. So Matic price is predicted to hit $1.50 following the Chainlink partnership. Now remember, if you were here a few days ago, I talked about the Arbitrum, Mina and Cardano partnership. I am not going to stop talking about that because it's huge. Interoperability. Mina is the protocol they're going to use. Arbitrum's a layer 2 on Ethereum. It's going to connect to connect to Cardano, and it's going to allow Cardano users to play games on Arbitrum. It's going to be huge. It's happening this year. Don't fade Cardano. Cardano might not be sexy. It might not be grabbing the headlines. But when you have a chain with that many loyal users being given all of these possible opportunities, the DeFi on Cardano is going to explode. The staking opportunities on Cardano are going to explode. Similarly, Polygon for me peaked too soon. It peaked in the bear market, and its price action has followed suit. While everything around it is cheering and jumping up and down, it's all got pom-poms, they're all making stars. Polygon did all of this last year. It has deals with Starbucks. It has deals with Disney. It has deals with Chainlink. It has deals with everybody. So don't fade it, but the price hasn't moved enough. So can it hit $1.50? It broke the dollar on Tuesday, January the 2nd, as bulls battle the fierce psychological resistance. Matic funded addresses have increased by 2,400 since the team announced a critical partnership with Chainlink in mid-December. Having breached the dollar, we're going to keep fighting at the dollar. Now, let's make this a bit bigger so you can read. So DeFi is financial inclusion. DeFi is 10x along with your friends. DeFi is bear market building. DeFi is fear of function zero. DeFi is ZK. Lots of things now. So everything about Matic is bullish and positive, except the price. Now, think about the bears and the bulls. They play around where there is the most honey. They play around where you can get the biggest gains. Why are they not going after Matic? Because there is Solana, there is Arbitrum, there is Optimism, there are other coins in which to make their profits. What do you think they're going to do when they finish making profits on these other chains? Matic is going to happen. I said the same thing 2 weeks ago when I said, why haven't BNB and Matic pumped? And what happened 3 days later? They both pumped. Don't fade Matic. It is the layer 2 chain on Ethereum. Now, the price action has been pretty poor. We are just on the $1 mark. Now, for me, anything under $1 for Matic is very, very good in terms of value. Matic has had high inflation. That's one negative, but that inflation has been cut. The rewards that used to be paid out on Matic were like 14% a year. It's now way down, maybe even 5 or 6% a year. So Matic has become a less inflationary chain over time. That's something to bear in mind when you look at where the price could go in this bull run. So if we go back to the previous high, we hit, let's call it $3. We hit $3. Now, you might not think that 97 cents is too far away from $3, and you'd be right, it's not. But there's a lot more Matic in existence than there was at the peak of the last bull run. So the market cap comes into play then. What was the market cap at the peak of the last bull run? What would that market cap be this bull run? And then divide that by the number of coins. And for example, it might come out at $2.40, for example. Maybe it's lost 20% of its value in the last 3 or 4 years. But still, it's a coin that should do quite well. I hold Matic because I think of all the layer 2s, it's the one to prove itself. I've got some good price targets. By the way, these charts, as I've said this before, we've drawn these a while ago. We need to get to $1.25 before we even think about $1.40, before we even think about this price up here, which is $1.62. So we have some good goals. And very similar to Bitcoin, what it's done is it's found resistance at this SHIB level. Then it's come up, and guess what? It's found support. Whatnot, that looks incredibly rude, especially when I do this. That looks like a lady putting her hand up. I'm sorry about that. I didn't mean to draw it like that. But basically, what you do, if I zoom in so it doesn't look as rude as I drew it, Look at how beautiful this is. Resistance, resistance, broken, support. Where next? There. That's what I think. I've drawn it again. I apologise to all the ladies watching the stream. So, I think Matic could get to $1.25, $1.30 in the near future. I am not saying today, but in the near future. And if you look at what's happened in the past, you can see, that it couldn't get through, broke out. And by the way, I'm drawing this really badly so it doesn't look like anything rude. Then it came back down and then it went off to the races. And anyway, we've come back down there. So $1.25, $1.30 is a good price for me for Matic. If you want to accumulate some Matic, 97 cents is great. And if it comes down again, if it breaks down, if there is some terrible news on Bitcoin, this level here at 53 cents, if we could get back down to 53 cents, that would be an absolute steal. And I've got a bag of cash still sitting here in USDC waiting for the black swan. I don't know what the black swan's going to be, but I'm waiting for a black swan. Yes, I've got my Bitcoin and everything else, but I am expecting some downward action. Now, before we get on to the stable coins, I'm going to do the picks, and that will probably be the last article because I want to get onto the quiz. I don't want to keep you too long. We try and keep the show to an hour. So let's have a little look at this. This is important. Okay, so this is a warning rather than an article. And it's something that I want you all to take away today. And that is, I'm trying to think of a good term for it. It's I would advertising via association. Shilling via association is a better term. So shilling via association. And what happens is you will see, being crypto, and especially Medium articles. Medium articles can be written by anybody. They do really well on the SEO and people get away with it. So what you will see, as I said at the start of the show, top altcoins for 2024 according to ChatGPT. I can tell you right now, this did not happen. This was not written by ChatGPT. And there's a damn good reason for that. And the reason is, one of the coins that ChatGPT, in speech marks, recommended doesn't even exist at the minute. So it's a fraudulent article on Being Crypto, which is, as far as I'm concerned, a very legitimate news source. But look, it's sponsored. That gives the game away, but you wouldn't have noticed it if I hadn't have told you. So let me explain what they do. The cryptocurrency market is experiencing excitement at the prices of crypto assets. They're coming back strong. Whoopee! Chat generative pre-trained transformer, ChatGPT, a noteworthy AI tool. So you should put your faith in an AI tool. This is what it's recommended you should buy. Solana. Yep, totally agree. What a good pick. Might have some retracement this year. Could still finish the year at maybe $300, $400, $500. Solid pick. What? Who are they? Have you heard of them? Have you heard of these? Nope, and I am not going to justify them by bringing up their article, and I would advise you not to. Chainlink. Absolutely. What? Good call. Chainlink, Solana. I have both of them in my portfolio. Polkadot. Yes, it's a solid project. Yes, it's not had great price action. I don't like Gavin Wood. I'm never going to invest in Polkadot. Go and look up Gavin Wood story and you'll find out why I don't like him. Polkadot, good call. Okay, so this article is telling you to buy Polkadot buy Chainlink, buy Solana, so 3 for 3, and buy Borrow Finance. Nobody's ever heard of it. Okay, it is shilling by association, and it is dangerous, and it's a lie, and you have to be careful when you are reading these articles and you see something stand out. I will show you how low it is. If you type in this, it doesn't even exist because it's still in its seed funding stage. It hasn't been funded yet. The pre-sale hasn't finished. So this article is trying to tell you that ChatGPT has scoured the internet and provided 4 coins for you to buy this year: Solana, Chainlink, Polkadot. Yep, I would expect ChatGPT to tell that. So you're telling me ChatGPT has told you to buy this? What a load of BS. Don't trust anything that has it. And they happen all the time. I see them every day. When I prepare these streams, I see them every day. Go and buy these coins: Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, Dobby Inu. Go and buy Dobby Inu. What's that? And what will you do? You're going to watch them and you're going to say, well, I know about Bitcoin, I know about Ethereum, I know about Solana. What's Dobby Inu? And of all the clicks on those articles, I guarantee you that most of them are going to be on those coins that you've never heard of, because you're going to click on the coin and go and have a look at it. It's clickbait, but it's dangerous. Nobody knows anything about this company. Nobody knows anything about this token, and they're shilling them to you. They'll have been paid thousands, $2,000, $3,000 to send you down this rabbit hole of this company. I don't care if it ends up being a success. I don't care if it ends up being a $200, $300 million project. They're lying. It's not live. It's very, very frustrating when you're trying to guide people through these scams and through these shills. It's like there's a huge dam with 50 different holes in it with water coming through, and I've got 10 fingers. You can't stop them all. All you can do is warn people against using these things. So do me a favor, if you ever see anything like this, don't click on the obvious one, which is the one you've never heard of, because they've been paid for. And go up to the top of the article and look for that word. It will be sponsored, it will be here, it will be down here, it will be hidden somewhere here, or what they'll do is they'll bury it somewhere in here and it will say sponsored down here. That they'll hide it somewhere. But if you go back to them and challenge them, they'll say one thing: well, the article's sponsored. Of course it is. It says sponsored at the top of the page. So just be careful. That's all I'm going to say. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to bring up the Bitcoin chart and we're going to do the quiz. We've got 20 minutes, 15, 20 minutes, something like that. So we've got plenty of time to ask some questions and get cracking. Just give me a second to bring up the Bitcoin chart. Let's have a look. There we go. Right, there we go. Bitcoin chart is up. 45. See, we've come down again. We were at 45.4, 45.5 a minute ago. Right, okay. What we're going to do is we're going to turn off one of our streams, and then when we come back, we're going to do our bit, if you like. So give me 20 seconds. I'm going to pour some coffee, and I will be back with the quiz.